PSD box, welcome to a new Photoshop tutorial. Today I want to show you how to edit a portrait and create some snow effects on it. So we're gonna take this picture and turn it into something like this. So I will show you some basic edits and how to create this snow effect on your image. So let's get started. Okay, we will start in Lightroom, so let's go back to Lightroom. This is a virtual copy of this image. So we will start with this image. On my website you will find these images. For premium members you'll have the raw file, and if you're not a premium member you'll find the full resolution JPEG file with this exactly as you can see it here on the image. And as I said, we will retouch this a bit in Lightroom. If you don't have Lightroom you can use Camera Raw in Photoshop, so just open this in Camera Raw. And JPEG files, you cannot open them in Camera Raw. If you want to do that you have to go to the preferences. Let me go here where you see file handling. Here's this button for Camera Raw preferences, click that, and here on the bottom where it says JPEG and TIFF handling, on the where it says JPEG, click that and select automatically open all supported JPEGs, and that way when you open a JPEG file it will automatically open it with Camera Raw, and Camera Raw is just like having Lightroom, so you'll have exactly the same modules that I have here. So let's edit this. You can see it's underexposed, so I'll increase the exposure, let's say to about 1 stop, 135, and I want to drop the highlights a bit because the background is a bit too blown out. Maybe add a bit more light on the shadows. I want to decrease the clarity. I want to have a soft effect. I want to create the base for this snow effect. I want to have a bit less color on the image and maybe a bit colder. So I'll change the temperature a bit and maybe increase a bit the contrast like that, and let's reduce a bit the noise. Just really basic edits to have the base for our image. Maybe some vignetting just to focus a bit light on the girl's portrait, and that's pretty much it. I don't want to edit this too much. We'll edit this in Photoshop anyways. Let's maybe add a bit more blue on the shadows, especially like that. And on the highlights a bit of yellow, not too much, just to bring some tones back on her face and change the balance more a bit towards the blacks. Okay, so this is our edit. Maybe let's increase a bit the exposure to 150. And this is our image. What I will do is right click on it now and choose edit in. I'll choose Adobe Photoshop CC. You don't need Photoshop CC, you can edit this in Photoshop CS5, CS4, or whatever Photoshop version you have. The snow effect can be done in any version of Photoshop. Okay, and the first thing that I want to do next is create a copy by pressing Ctrl Command J. And with this new layer I'll go to filter and I want to apply some blur to it, and I'll use the fill blur. You can use the Gaussian blur if you don't have Photoshop CS5 or CS6, or if you don't have this new blurring filters that Photoshop comes with, you can apply Gaussian blur just fine, there's no problem. And I'll use an amount of 30 pixels. The canvas size, it's quite big. I'll click OK now, and I just want to show you that. You can see it takes a while for the filter to be applied, and that's because the image is very big. I'll make it smaller now. So you can see it's 4000 by 6000. I'll decrease the width to 2000 pixels just because I'll apply the filters a bit quicker. So I have this blurred image, and now I'll change the blend mode of this to screen, and you can see what happens. We get this sort of dreamy effect and the image is a lot brighter. So I'll have to decrease the opacity to, let's say, 50% or 40. We get more light, soft effect, and this sort of dreamy effect. Okay, now let's create a new layer, fill it with black, and now let's go, and now we have to add some noise. So go to filter, noise, add noise, and add about 200%, and make sure you check the monochromatic and click OK. And now we're gonna have to go to the filter gallery, but if it's grayed out, it's because you have to change the mode from 16 bits to 8 bits. Otherwise, the filter gallery will not be available. So go into the filter gallery, and here the only thing you want to do is use this dry brush. And you can see that if you increase the brush size, you have less of these points. This will be our snowflakes. What happens is that if you use a small amount like 2, you have a lot of points. If you increase that, we have like too little. What I want is to have not too many of them and a bit bigger. So what I will do is duplicate this. So I'll create a new layer, a new effects layer, and I'll use the same effect on this layer, but I'll decrease the brush size. Okay, so on the first one, I'll use a brush size of, let's say, 4. And on the second one, I'll use a brush size of, let's say, 5 or 6. And you can see that now they're a bit more rounded. We have not as many, and they're a bit bigger. 7. Okay, so for the first one I have 4, and for the second one I have 7. The brush detail and texture have no effect, so you don't have to worry about that. And I'll click OK. Okay, and this is our these are my snowflakes here. If I change the blend mode to screen, you will see that the black background will go away, and the only thing left here are these points here, which, as I said, are my snowflakes. I'll create a copy with Ctrl-Command-J. And what I will do now is press Ctrl-Command-T to load the free transform and make them a bit bigger and move them around. And we have to soften this. So what I will do is go to Filter, Blur, and I'll apply Gaussian blur. That's okay. And about 2 pixels is okay. For this canvas size, and maybe about 3, and click OK. And now I'll duplicate this a couple of times and just move them around, and maybe flip horizontally just so that we don't have the same distribution of particles. And now you can also make some of them out of focus and create some sort of bokeh effects. I'll reactivate this layer that I just put here on top, and the reason why I changed the blend mode back to normal is because I want you to see the bokeh effect. I'll go inside the filter and choose the blur gallery. In order to get this bokeh effect, you need to use the fill blur, and if you don't have it, you will not be able to do it. Okay, so and here what you do is, if you increase the blur, you can see we get less and less visibility. But we have this light bokeh slider here, which if you move to the right, you will start to see how they start to light up. And we have this bokeh effect. Some of them are more brighter, some of them are not that bright. You can change how the light looks like using this light range. The more you go towards the black, the more of these points are illuminated. More of these points are illuminated. Okay, so let's leave the range about here. That looks okay to me, and maybe a bit bigger. Not that much, and a bit less light. Just find a balance. If you don't activate the monochrome option when you add the noise, you will get some colorful light, bokeh effects, I guess. And here with the color, you can change a bit the colors of them, but we have them in black and white, which is what we need. I think I like how it looks, and I'll click OK now. We'll wait for the filter to be applied, and we'll change the blend mode back to screen. And you can see that now we have some bokeh effects here, which you can of course duplicate and make a bit bigger if you want to have some of them bigger than other ones. Okay, if you want to create a sense of motion, what you can do is, I'll duplicate one of the, no, not that one, this one of the less blurred layers here, and I'll move it around a bit. And what I will do is press Ctrl-Command-T to load this free transform tool, and I'll right click and choose warp. And from here, if you move this slightly, you don't have to make big changes, just a bit like that. You can create a sense of motion, make them look like they're falling. Okay, press enter, and if you zoom in, you can see how they are. It looks like they're actually moving. Let's do it again. Let's warp them a bit more. Stretch them a bit so that it looks like they're falling from left to right, maybe, or no, from right to left. You can also apply motion blur if you want. Okay, see how it looks like. Maybe I want to blur it a bit more, so let's apply some more Gaussian blur to these ones. Yeah, like that. Great, and now I'll duplicate the first one and I'll make it bigger. I want to have some bigger snowflakes, but not very blurred. Like that, and duplicate again, move them around. So you can see with layering, you can get lots of cool effects. And with just one layer, I just applied that noise filter once. You can do it multiple times if you want, but it's not necessary. Simply by duplicating and moving layers around, you can get what you want, and it's enough, I think. Okay, I think I have enough snow here on this image. Probably I would duplicate one of this bokeh effects here and leave it like that. Keep the face fairly clean. You don't want to cover it too much. Yeah, this one is it's bothering me. I don't like it, so I'll delete it. Okay, great. Now if you want to emphasize this a bit more, you can create a new layer, and with a big brush you can paint with white a glow of light. Let's use a soft brush and a really big brush like that, and I'll click once right here like so. And now with the, well, actually let's move it a bit higher up like that. And now with the Control Command T, I'll make this bigger and I'll move it around like that. Just to add this touch of light there on the image and get this look. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Before and after, I think it looks quite nice. If you want, you can add more effects. Let's add, for example, a photo filter, and let's make it a bit colder, not that much. Yeah, that looks okay. And now maybe some vibrance. I want to get back some of the color. Yeah, I think this looks nice. Yep, and maybe a gradient map. And let's change this to tone, to hue, sorry. And let's see if we drop the opacity to about 10%, just to get a different touch. 15. See on the face and on the hair. And that's pretty much it. The effect, the before and after, before and after. So that's the effect that I wanted to show you. I hope you liked it, and so that's all for today. I hope you'll get some nice results. If you want, you can use the hashtag PSDbox or PSD_box on Instagram, and or post them on our Facebook page and show us what you get. Until next time, this is Andrei from PSD Box. Take care and see you on the next tutorial.